Do you guys remember there's one part where a lot of you just like, boop? Okay, it said Simon, very good. And then there was another part where a lot of you messed up. What happened then? Yeah, so people always say that I tricked you. Did I trick you? Yes. No, the name of the game is you have to do as Chena says, not as Chena does, right? But then that's really tricky. That's all about mixed messages, right? It's like here you are saying, hey, follow me, but then you're doing something else. By the way, what do we call people who say one thing but then do another? What do we call that? Hypocrites, yeah. And so here's the deal. Here's the deal. Today we're actually going to talk about mixed messages, right? So here we are at a Catholic school, right? And maybe a lot of things that we're learning, maybe we're like, I don't know that I believe that. I don't know if that's true. Plus we're getting bombarded by all these messages like, who do I believe? How do I know what's true? There's all these messages, and then how do I live that out? Right? Because I can go to Catholic school, go to Catholic church, go to Catholic youth group, but it doesn't necessarily mean that what I'm saying has to do with what I'm doing. And I don't want anybody here to be a hypocrite, so let's just go through a few things. All right, so we just did our little game, and then I have a question. Anybody's birthday coming up? Or just happened? Mine was in July. Yeah, when's yours? Oh, well, okay, perfect. So imagine, what's your name? Okay, Rendell. Happy birthday. I give you that. Okay, what do you think that does? What is it? Okay, very good, a robot, but what does it do? What do you think? Just guess. So he's like, it just, I don't know what it does. So he has no clue, so he gives it to you. What do you think it does? A camera. So she's like, selfie, and the thing's just like staring at her because it's not a camera, right? But then she's like, okay, this thing doesn't work. She gives it to you. What do you think it does? Plays music. So she's like, all right, guys, she has a party, and she's like, wait till you hear this, and the thing's just like, meh, doesn't do anything. Who thinks that they know what this does? What do you think it does? What do you think it is? Yeah, I guess. Very creepy, awkward stalker robot. No. Yeah. Karaoke machine, she's like, woo, and it doesn't do anything. No. What do you think it does? Can you imagine? She's like, I have this thing that goes around Mars, and things like, no. No, good guess. No. So, nothing. None of you guys got it. So I have a question. If you have no idea, so let's go back to you. You had no idea what it does, right? Who should you ask? Who knows what that thing does? Jesus, what does it do? He's not going to be like, it is a... No, like, who legit knows what that does? The person that gave it to you. So I'm like, actually, I thought it was really cute. I have no idea what it does. Who knows? Whoever made it, all right? So check this out. When you have something, right, you don't know what it does, you have to ask the maker. Who made this? Whoever made it knows its purpose. So actually, none of you guys would have gotten it. This is from MIT, okay? And it's what's called an effective intelligent driving agent. And so basically, it's an in-car personal robot. So see how you're driving, make recommendations, tell you what's up a road. Okay, so none of you guys would have gotten that. So it would have been wasted, right? In a sense, you would have gotten it. You're like, I don't know what this does. Oh, it's a chair. Break it. It goes to Mars. Nothing, right? And so you're like, this thing is broken. It doesn't work. But actually, you have to ask the person who made it. And so here's the thing. When it comes to our life, right, we have to ask ourselves, like, what is our purpose? Right? Because everything that's created has a purpose. This chair has a purpose, right? Everything has a purpose. And we have a purpose too. But in order to be like, okay, well then what is my purpose? We have to ask, okay, well then who made us? Right? And none of us, as cool as it would be, we're like, I'm going to make myself boom, and then here we are, right? None of us. And so our parents helped give us our body, but God gave us our soul. And so we can do whatever we want with our life, that's true. But unless we don't want to waste it, we have to be like, okay, the person who designed us, what did he have in mind? And especially when it comes to dating, relationships, sexuality, all those things, we hear the world saying one thing, God saying another, our homeowner saying another, and my boyfriend saying another, and all these things. How do we know what we're created for? So let's go back to the beginning, all right? Who were the very first people ever to exist, and the first people to ever fall in love, engage in relationships, have sex, and have kids? Who were they? Adam and Eve. Let's see what good Catholic education you have. All right. As soon as God creates Adam, immediately what does he create? Incorrect. Animals. Very good. A lot of people always say Eve. No. As soon as God creates Adam, immediately after he creates animals, and God does something weird. God says, okay, I don't want you to be alone, so what's going to happen is we need to find you a helper. And so he has Adam name all these animals. So Adam names all these animals. Why do you think God does that? Why do you think God has Adam name the animals? Is he like, I've just created, I have no more creativity anymore? Like, why do you think God made Adam name the animals? Dominion, true. And also so he could realize, you know what? Here's a dog, here's a cat, here's a whatever, and I'm not like one of them. I am different from the animals. Where's a helper? Where's one like me? Look at this. In California, in the zoo, there is an exhibit. You could go see the pandas, oh how cute. You can go see the alligators, and then you can go see humans. And there was this dude in a cage, okay? And the idea was, you know what? We are just an animal. We're just like all these other animals. So why not exhibit ourselves like an animal? Are we just another animal? Is that all we are? No? Yes? Who says no? Yeah? How are we different? What makes us different? Oh, yeah. Okay, so those of you who may not know, let's pretend, what's your name? You, yeah. Theodore? Perfect, so here's Theodore. Imagine, let's just see if humans are the same as animals. Here's a lake, and there's a baby in the lake. A baby falls into a lake, and there's an alligator there. An alligator grabs a baby, eats it, and rips it apart. Is that a horrible thing? Yes. People are like, no. I'm sorry, son. Laws of nature. No, right? So, yeah, it's a terrible thing. Could you punish that animal? Could you hold him responsible for what he did in a way? Could you be like, how dare you, bad alligator? Like, morally, could you hold him responsible? No. Imagine the same lake, but instead of an alligator, Theodore is there, right? And the baby falls into a lake, and he does the same exact thing that the alligator did. He grabs a baby, eats it, and that's it, right? He was hungry. Is there a difference? Why is it different? It's not just like, oh, people are like cannibalism. No, but why is it different? What's the difference between him and the alligator? Why can I hold him responsible? Why can I hold you responsible? Why? Very good. So what makes us different, right, is that we are created in the image and likeness of God, which means that we have intellect and a free will, right? And that's important, especially when it comes to all these different things, when it comes to dating and relationships and all these things, because a lot of times what you hear is just, you know what, you're just another mammal. You're just another, actually, you guys are young, but before, there used to be a group, and it was interesting. They had a music video, and they dressed up like monkeys. And the song said this. The song said, you and me, baby, ain't nothing but mammals. So let's do it like they do on the Discovery Channel, okay? That was the song. That was a song. And you're like, oh, but here's the thing. Is that true? Because that's a lot of what they're promoting. It's like, hey, it's all instincts, it's all hormones, it's all, but no. Hold on. We're created in the image and likeness of God, right? So in other words, when God created us, when he gave us intellect, when he gave us free will, he also gave us our purpose. What is our purpose? Who knows? What's our purpose? Okay, very good. Yeah, to get to heaven. And the path there, very good, is to love. So we're really creating the image and likeness of God, who is love. It doesn't say God is loving, God is lovable. It says he is love. But then my question is, what is love? Because this is what we do. We're like, oh my gosh, I love chocolate cake. I love Panera. I love your shoes. I love your hair. I love your dog. I love you. Wait, I love my dog. I love you. All of these things. What is love? What is it? Baby, don't hurt me. Everybody always sings that. No. What is it? No clue? So you guys have no clue. So I come up and I give you a big old slap in the face. I'm like, I love you. Bah! And you're like, I guess that's what love is. What is it? Who can tell me? Yeah. Deep affection for something. So for example, oh my goodness, through that door, comes a person, comes this guy, I'm like, oh my gosh, I am so moved, butterflies in my stomach, I'm in love. Like, is that what it is? Is it just feelings? Giving thyself. Okay, yeah, so question. Do you guys think that love is just a feeling? No? So imagine a mom. Some of you are like, I don't know. Imagine a mom. She just has a newborn baby. And the baby wakes up at 2 a.m. screaming, wah, because the baby's hungry. And she's like, oh my gosh, butterflies in my stomach. I'm so excited to give you some food. Yay! And then 3 hours later, it's like 5 a.m. She hasn't slept at all. The baby's, wah, and she's like, joy, joy, joy. I get to wake up again. Do you think that's what happens? She's probably like, really? Yes. Moms are like, she's probably like, go to sleep, right? Like, baby, right? She loves the baby, but she doesn't always feel it. Let's imagine a young couple just got married. Oh my gosh, they're so in love, and they go off to their honeymoon, and oh my gosh, so fantastic. On the way back, car crash. The girl's in a coma in the hospital, and the husband's like, hospital bed, tubes lying out, not really that attractive, can't really do anything for me. Yeah, I don't think I love you anymore. What do you think about that? Yeah, you guys are like, what? Right? So it's more than just a feeling. And guys, let me tell you something. If you forget everything that I said today, you're like, I have no idea what China said, I don't remember anything. But you just remember this. This will help you. Actually, so many decisions will make this just thing, knowing what love is, will make your life so much easier because you will be able to tell the difference when somebody is using you and when somebody loves you. Love is when you desire the ultimate good for the other person. In other words, you want what is best for them, right? So love is not how this person makes you feel. It's your level of responsibility for the other person. So I want what is best for you. That's how I know I love you. So, and it could be anything, dating, parents, whatever. Your friend loves you when they want what is best for you. When they call you out and you're like, hey, I saw you cheating, or I saw you smoking pot, or I saw what you did the other day. Like, that's not what's good, right? And when they call you out, even though it doesn't feel good, they're loving you, right? Here's what's interesting. Here's a young girl dating a young boy, and he's like, if you love me, blah, 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 blah. Girls, ask yourself, is he really thinking about what is best for me? Or is he just thinking about what he wants to feel right now, right? So this question can help you really discern if a person actually loves you, right? To really love. And the thing is that we're created body and soul. So I'm not just, I have to express love through my body too. I can't just say, oh yeah, I love you. I want what is best for you. And then I go out and gossip about you or use you, right? We can't do that. So in other words, we're supposed to love using our bodies. Did you guys know that we have this thing called body language? Have you heard of that? Imagine I would have come today and this would have been me. Okay, so Isaac, your principal introduces you. And I sit down and this is me. All right, guys, so today it's going to be really great. We're going to be talking for 30 minutes about, dating and relationships, and it'll be great. Do you believe me? Yeah? Okay, boy. Need a little help there. All right. What about this? Why don't you believe me? Those who don't believe me, why don't you believe me? What? Okay, how about this? Oh my gosh, you guys, this is going to be so amazing. We are going to have such a great time. You have no idea. I can't wait to talk to you. How about that? I said it better. Do you believe me then? Why not? Yeah, okay, yeah. So here's the thing. I express who I am through my body, right? And so there's a language of the body. In other words, we need to learn the language of our bodies. We need to learn how to express through our bodies what it is. So it's not, we're body and soul. You can't separate that. Actually we can. What do we call the separation of body and soul? Death. So one time I asked people, I'm like, how do we know we have a soul? Because one time a boy was like, I don't have a soul. I was like, well, you're alive, right? So the very fact that you're alive means that you have a soul. And people are like, well, I don't believe in souls. I'm like, okay. What if I were to grab, what's your name? What is it? Trinity. I were to grab Trinity, and Trinity doesn't believe in souls. She's just materialistic, and she's like, I'm an atheist. I don't believe in the existence of a soul. So I do every scientific test on her. Right? DNA, how tall she is, how everything, every single scientific measurement, DNA, everything. Would that tell me who she is as a person? No. So there's something more than just material elements to us, right? There's something more about who we are, what makes us a person. So we're body and soul. And so we have to express love through our bodies too. It's not my soul for God and my body for my boyfriend, right? It's together. It's our body and soul. Whatever we do with our bodies affects our soul, right? So if we have a language of the body, how does a baby learn how to speak? Because that means if our body has a language, that means we learned it. How does a baby learn how to speak? Listening to others. So the mom has a brand new baby, and she's like, oh my gosh. Okay, here's your first word. You ready for this? Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Is that the baby's first word? Yes? Really? Besides just listening, what else? What else do you need in order to learn a language? What? Okay, what do you mean by that? So repetition, here's the thing. I speak Spanish. Does anybody here speak a different language? Yeah? What do you speak? Polish, very cool. What do you speak? ¿Sí? ¿Hablas español? Muy bien. All right. So I speak Spanish too, and I thought, okay, I want to learn how to speak Brazilian Portuguese. So I put in a CD in my car to learn Brazilian Portuguese, and this is what it said. Every time I put it in, it would say, escucha esta conversa. And it would begin. And then the next lesson, escucha esta conversa, escucha esta conversa. What do you think that means? Anybody who speaks Spanish? What do you think escucha esta conversa means? Listen to this conversation. That's the only thing I know how to say. Can you imagine me going to Brazil and being like, I got this. Escucha esta conversa. And everybody's like, yeah. I'm like, no, that's all I got, right? Can you imagine? Like, that's the end of it, right? Because that's all I heard. That's all that was repeated. That's all I know. So when it comes to the language of our bodies, about dating, relationship, what does it mean to be male? What does it mean to be female? All of that is learned, right? And so we have to ask ourselves, okay, what have we been repeating? So let's do a little reality check. Imagine, heaven forbid, the ceiling, all this just falls down on us. We don't die, don't worry. But we all have amnesia. Do you know what amnesia is? What's amnesia? Yeah, you don't remember anything. So imagine you wake up and you're like, what the heck? I have amnesia. What is this body? I don't even know. I don't know what it means to be male. I don't know what it means to be female. I'm like, I got this. You guys sit down, and what we're going to do is I'm going to show you television shows, music videos, magazines. We're going to listen to lyrics of songs, and you're going to know everything you need to know about what it means to be male or female. Okay? So imagine you have amnesia, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to show you images of what every time you turn on the television, this is what's going on, right? Every time that you do all these different things, that's what you're saying. The songs, lyrics, all those different things, right? So let's see what we have learned if the only source of information is making all that, okay? So let's start with fashion for a second. So think about fashion for a bit. I don't know if you guys remember, but a few years ago, there were these pants, especially for girls, that were called Juicy. Do you know what I'm talking about? So there were these pants, Juicy Couture, right? And so they were like sweatpants, but they were really, really tight. And it said juicy, but it didn't say juicy here or juicy here. It said juicy on the back, literally juicy on the butt. And so I have a friend. I'm from Venezuela, as I told you, South America. And she's walking down the street, and she's not walking like this. I know, like, she's like walking, and all these guys are screaming at her. Mamita rica, woo, they're screaming at her. She's like, ay, cochino, you pig. I'm like, really? It says juicy on your butt. Like literally that's what it says. And as you're walking, right, he's juicy on the butt, juicy butt. And he's cochino, right? Like we're literally, what is our body like? Should people heckle and call and hoot and holler? No. But what are we literally saying with our bodies? Think about fashion, right? Think about just all the different things that are out there. Think about advertisements. Okay, men, imagine I'm like, sit down, I'm gonna show you this. Tell me, what do you think about this ad for a second? Okay, Jimmy Choo. That's the guy from Game of Thrones. I have a question. What does it say, in theory, you're just reading it. Remember, you're not just, what does it say about like men and female relationships? Just by that. Grab, okay. Okay, yeah, if you have nice clothes and smell nice, yeah, you get all the women. By the way, how is he dressed? Yeah, he's dressed well. He's fully dressed. Oh, wait. I think I see a sliver of his neck, right? So here's a guy fully dressed, and there's a female. Well, I think it's a female because we don't even see her head, because you know what? It's not important who she is. It's just her body parts. Just think about the messages this is saying, right? Look, all you see about the lady is her legs, all right? And he's grabbing at it. And, oh, yeah, what's the title of the cologne? Man. And it's interesting because they're just using body parts, right? Her head is not important, and so cut off. And the little bit that we see is barely closed. So he's fully closed, she's barely closed. He's holding on, and she's like this, and yet that's what it means to be a man. How about this one? Look at this one. Girls, what is this advertising? What is it literally advertising? Perfume. And that makes sense, girls, because as soon as somebody gives me perfume for my birthday, the first thing that I do is spray my legs. No. What are those legs doing there? Just to capture attention. So all of a sudden you're learning, okay, we can use body parts. We can use people. We're not talking about love. We're talking about use. Here are those legs, right? What are those legs doing there? It's interesting. One guy once said, how do I even know it's a girl? Like there's no face. There's no nothing. I was like, ooh, disturbing, but true. Or this one. Oh, girls always react like that. I see. And it's interesting because here's a guy barely dressed, and you can't even see the cologne. The cologne is also called man. You can't even see the cologne because you know what, girls, when you buy that and you spray that on your boyfriend, boom, he becomes like that. No, right? But here's the thing. Remember, guys, we have amnesia. So what has this been teaching us about how we're to relate? And here's the thing. The rule is always we use things and we love people. Right? I'm not allowed to use a person. See, because here's the thing. What's this? A highlighter, right? What happens, so I can use a highlighter, right? What happens when this highlighter is no longer working? What do I do with it? Throw it away, right? It's a thing. I can toss it. I can throw it away. It doesn't matter. But here's the deal. And every single one of these we saw before, right? All of a sudden, it's usually the females, but we just see body parts and they're used to advertise. So you're learning, okay, we can use people. And you know what? When this girlfriend is not giving me what I want, well, I'm just using her so I can toss, right? It doesn't matter. I can use people and move on to the next version, the better thing. And girls and guys, this is a total travesty and a total mistake, because here's the thing. If all your boyfriend or your girlfriend's interested is a part, like your body, and just even like parts of that, you know what happens? The next time that a bigger, better, smaller, whatever it is that the person's interested, all of a sudden, you're replaceable, right? Because if all they are is interested in a body part or what you could do with them, you know what I mean? Then you're replaceable. But if a person falls in love with you, with who you are, you have never existed in all eternity. You will never exist again, right? And so you, all of a sudden, because of your dignity, you're unreplaceable. You can't, you're unique. But if you let yourself be used, what's going to happen is you're just going to be tossed aside. And think about the Me Too movement. Think about what's going on. I find it interesting and incredibly disturbing, right? But I'm not surprised. And we'll talk about that in a second. All this information that's being pumped from magazines, from advertising, from pornography, from all these things, just saying you can use people, use people, use people, use people. And then people are acting this way, and then we're shocked at the results. But you know what? If we haven't trained people to see people with their dignity, how do you treat a lady, right? How do you let yourself be treated by other people, and all of a sudden that's all you get? This is the fruits, and it's terrible. It's disgusting, right? But this is what we're learning all the time. Use. So we have to ask ourselves, what is the purpose of our sexuality? What is the purpose of this great gift that God gave us? So I just saw, I'm going to borrow. Who has his phone? Or does somebody have a phone? I know you may not, like, supposedly. Okay. We'll find your phone, don't worry. They have it? All right. What's the purpose of a phone? To call. What else? Text, games, internet, all that stuff. Okay, so this phone has a purpose. What if I were to say, well, I can do whatever I want with my phone. So, can I use this phone to play baseball? Can I use the phone? So, in general, not just because it's his phone, but can I use the phone to play baseball? Yes, who says yes? Raise your hand. Who says no? Raise your hand. Who says I'm too lazy, I'm not going to raise my hand? Whatever you say. Okay, come on. Think about this for a second. I seriously want you to think about it. Yes. Here's the deal. I'm asking you, can I? Can I literally say, all right, you're going to get there. I'm going to throw this to you. You're going to grab a bat and hit it as hard as you can. Can I do that? Yes. You can. Here's the real question, though. Should I? Okay, and now you're like, yeah, do it. But then if I grab your phone, you're like, no. Okay, why shouldn't I? What? So what happens, it's not its purpose. But what if I were to say, excuse me, who are you to tell me what to do with my phone? This is my phone. And I can do with my phone whatever I want, okay? She's just be like, all right, go ahead, but don't come to me crying when your phone breaks. Why will my phone break if I'm using it that way? Because it wasn't made for that. So when I use something that has a specific design, and I don't use it according with its purpose, it will break. No, China, it will not. Give me your phone. I'm going to hit it with a bat, and then we'll see if it breaks. Right? And you know it will. What if I were to say, hey, guys, guess what? I've always wanted to skydive. Like, that's just my dream. Not true. But let's just pretend. But you know what? I think parachutes are lame. So why don't you guys come? It's going to be awesome. I think it would be epic if I jumped out with a chair instead of a parachute. Can I do that? Should I do that? Like, yeah, China, you should. Don't let me die, right? No, it won't work. This already has a purpose. This phone already has a purpose. Just because I don't want it, I don't want the purpose of the chair to be that, and I want it to be something else, it doesn't make it transform into that. In other words, if I want to use this as a baseball, I can. But it wasn't made for that. No matter how much I want to use this as a baseball, it will break. It wasn't made for that. Why am I saying that? Because every single part of our body has already a purpose. And people always say, excuse me, who are you to tell me what to do with my body? It is my body, and I can do with my body whatever I want. Yes, you can. But the question is, should you? Because when you begin to do all these things, and all of a sudden relationships fall apart, all of a sudden we see all these different consequences, and we're like, why? Because it has a purpose. So let's ask, what's the purpose of our eyes? Is that universal truth? In other words, I know that there's some people are blind, but is it true that eyes are created to see? Yes. What if some of you are like, excuse me, who are you to tell me what to do with my eyes? This happened with one girl. I want to tattoo my eyes. Did you see about that girl? So she wanted to like tattoo her eyes and like with like purple ink, and she lost her eye. Your eyes are not meant to tattoo, right? It will break. What are our lungs created for? To breathe. That is literally, what if you're like, excuse me, I could do with my lungs whatever I want, so I'm going to smoke whatever I want, and it doesn't matter. Can you do that? Yes. Will you see the side consequences? Of course, because it wasn't meant for that. Here's another question. What is the actual purpose of eating? Like, why do we have to eat? What's the purpose? To survive, right? But here's the thing. Does eating give pleasure? Yes, a little too much, but I love eating. Okay, why would God make eating pleasurable? So we would do it. If eating was so disgusting, so horrible, nobody would eat, we would all die. Now, what if you're like, well, I don't care about nutrition. I'm just going to separate the purpose of eating, and I'm just going to focus on the pleasure that it gives, right? So you're that dude, okay? What would happen if you don't care about nutrition, the actual purpose, and all you do is focus on the pleasure? What could happen to you? You get fat. Okay, but what if you're like, I don't care, a little extra pounds, it's okay. No, what else could happen? Heart failure, diabetes, all these things. There's a show, have you ever seen it? It's called like My 600-Pound Life or something like that. He's like, yeah, 600. He's like, why are you cheering? Anyway, here's the deal. When you see those shows, you see that overeating, and there's different reasons why that happens, but it brings all these other consequences. It affects all these other people because they're using, right, eating, which has its purpose. Is it good to eat and have pleasure? Of course. God even makes heaven, talks about the heavenly banquet. But if all you do, forget nutrition, all I want is pleasure, we begin to see that what happens. So when it comes to every single part of our body, we need to ask the same. What is the purpose of the sexual union? What's the purpose of sex? Because the world out there will say, hey, it's just pleasure. It's just showing love. Really, love? Is it use? What is it? Here's the thing. Really, truly, the sexual union is meant for love and life. The union of a man and woman, right? And procreation, what comes from that. Is every single time people engage in sexual union, will life come out of that? No. Right? Because people have cycles, women have cycles, right? But that is the actual purpose. And so here's the deal. It's interesting the way that we talk about these things, the way we talk about sex. People are like, oh, it was a one-night stand. It was just this one thing. And you begin to see it, she's like, really? Is that all it is? I'm going to show you, it's going to sound weird, the sexual life of my grandparents. You guys are, look at that, okay? Here are my grandparents. Your mind goes everywhere. What am I going to show you? We're at a Catholic school. All right. So, here are my grandparents. They got married. They had sex and they had kids. 3 girls and 3 boys. Literally. All those kids, they got married. And since the sexual union is part of marriage, right, they also had sex and they had kids. Okay? A lot of these kids, they got married. They had sex and they had kids. Okay? So here's the deal. People talk about sex not being a big deal. It doesn't matter. But I want you to understand is that it creates history. It's so powerful that it creates history. Because if you remove the sexual union of my grandparents, you could say goodbye to one generation, goodbye to another, goodbye to another. Right? Sex is powerful. It creates history. And it has its place. See, here's the thing. When God designed sex, there's so many ways to show people that you love them. But the sexual union is meant for marriage. Why? Because that is where that commitment, that fullness of vows, right? Imagine a couple that they're not married, right? And they're just teenagers and engaging in sex. All of a sudden they got pregnant. Oh my gosh, what am I going to do? It's this huge drama, everything that happens. But how different it is when a couple understand God's plan for life and love, right? And then when they engage in a sexual union and they get pregnant, it's like, wow, we're starting a family. It has its proper place. Question, is fire good or bad? Good? Always good. Okay. So it depends. Where in a house is fire good? Fireplace. Okay, so here we go, fireplace. What if I were to go over to your house? I'm like, what are you doing? Fire is so powerful. It's not meant to be contained. What are you doing? No, take it. I think it's old-fashioned to have fire in a fireplace. You're just limiting the fire. You're not allowing it to see the fullness of its glory. So I'm going to get fire. I'm going to throw it. I'm going to say, fire, be free, right? Just burn down your house, right? So here's the deal. We see that in California and different things. Fire is very, very powerful. That is why it's in its proper place. So here's the thing. When it comes to sexual union, we just saw, right? It's not just this one thing. It's not just like, oh, holding hands, hugging, kissing, sex, like just another way of showing affection. No, right? It has its purpose. And so people forget, and they forget that the purpose is union and procreation. Does it give pleasure? Yes. Right? Why? Because what if you're like, it's disgusting, it's the worst, nobody's ever going to have sex, we all die, generation, we're done. Right? So God would make sex pleasurable, right, in its proper context because it's beautiful. And it's meant for that. But look at what happened here. There was a school, and they did a study. There was about 570 plus kids. And they asked them, they did a survey in the school, and they asked them, okay, what happens is I want you to write down, this is called a sexual exposure map. So I want you to write down anybody that you've been in a relationship with, right? If you've had engaged in a sexual union, I want you to write that down. And then just let us know. Basically, based on all their answers and all the things that happened, they were able to connect over 288 people. Why? Because, here's the deal. Let's start with this girl. Okay? So let's say this girl, she just had this one boyfriend. Oh my gosh, her love of her life. You know what? They were good. They waited till junior year in high school. And then she had sex with this guy. But you know what? He had sex with this girl, who had sex with this boy, who had sex with this girl, who had sex with this boy. Right? But then actually he was also with this girl, who was with this boy, who was with this girl. So she thinks she's just with him. But if any of these people in the chain, if any of them have any form of sexually transmitted disease, it can come to her. Because it's connected. Right? And so you may think, oh yeah, this is the love of my life for all these different things. But what happens is all these people are linked one way or another. Right? Linked one way or another. Because I know the world says, hey, it's just about showing affection, it's just about this, but in reality, promise of our bodies. Does anybody know what this is? Yeah, the Hope Diamond. Has anybody ever seen the Hope Diamond in DC? It's actually amazing because like, you can go, grab it, pick it up, and look at it. Actually, you can't. It's behind bulletproof glass. Why? Yeah, but why? Because you know what? If you touch it, it's poisonous and you die. No. Right? It's like that because it's so valuable. And so when it comes to our sexual union, God was the one who actually created sex. The sex was not the devil's idea. It wasn't like, how can I mess everybody up and get them to hell? I will create sex. No, this was God's idea. And because it's so beautiful, because it's so valuable, that is why God says it has its place. It's powerful. And here's the thing. Sex is not only good, it's really good. Actually, it's holy. Did you know that sex according to God, and we hear this from St. Paul, right, is holy? That the bed is as holy as the altar, right? And what does the devil do? The devil can't make things. He just grabs things and twists them and deforms them. And so the devil sees something that's so beautiful that can bring other images of God into the world. And what is he going to do? He's going to attack that. And so we see that because what happens is marriage is meant to imitate the Trinity. Here's a man who makes vows to his wife, and he loves his wife so much that he gives himself fully to her. The wife fully receives the husband, and in that interaction of love between husband and wife, a child comes through. Right? A child can be born. It's the same thing as a Trinity. How many gods do we have? One, but I don't get it. There's Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. How's that work? 3 persons, 1 God, right? And so here's a Father who loves the Son so much that he gives himself fully to the Son. The Son receives everything from the Father. And that love between Father and the Son, that's the Holy Spirit. That is what marriage is meant to be. An imitation of the Trinity. So just as you see a priest walking down the street and you see priest, oh, that reminds me of God. We should see marriages and be like, oh yeah, image of God, right? Fullness of gift. That is what it's meant to be. And so we have to remember that God is love, right? And so anything that's done in the name of love has to bring us closer to God. So if a guy's like, oh, you know, if you love me, do this, you have to ask yourself, by doing this with my boyfriend, by doing this with my girlfriend, is he leading me closer to God? If so, great, do it. If not, then there's a problem, right? And so let's just talk really quickly about a few things that the world tells us that are, you know what taboo is? Things, oh my gosh, we don't really talk about. So here's the thing. What's the problem then with like pornography, for example, right? And so what it does is that pornography, people say this all the time. I talk with young people all the time, like, well, it doesn't matter. It's just an images. I'm not really doing anything. Girls, I have a question for you. I have a friend, and she was engaged. Okay, so she goes to her boyfriend's house, her fiance's house, and she needs to use the restroom. So when she goes up to his room, she sees the computer's open. And he's chatting through a pornography site with this other girl. And she is furious. She's like, how could you do this? I can't believe you're cheating on me. And he's like, I didn't do anything. She's like, you're chatting with this girl, all these obscene things. He's like, but I'm not physically doing anything. I'm not cheating on you. Is he? Yeah. Here's the thing. It's not just what we do with our bodies, it's all of us, our imagination, all our thoughts. And I remember one time, I was talking to a group of parents, and this is sad. One of the dads was like, well, I don't think it's a big deal. I really don't. I saw it when I was young. My boy will see it. It's not a big deal. Actually, the problem with pornography, well, it's always been a problem, but even now it's had so much violence against women. It's terrible, right? So I know some girls are like, well, it's okay. He just gets his release away, you know what, it's fine. No, 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 no. He is not learning how to tell you. Do you know how long the average person looks at an image for in like a porn magazine or a porn site? Less than 30 seconds. And these are like perfectly photoshopped women, and you're saying perfectly photoshopped person, 30 seconds bored, 30 seconds bored, 30 seconds bored, 30 seconds bored. And you think that a young man or young woman who's training themselves this way, by the time they get married, they've had the proper training to now be with one person, one non-photoshopped person for the rest of their life? Not gonna happen. But anyway, this dad was like, I don't think it's a big deal. I was like, seriously? And this is what I told him. It was kind of intense, but it's okay. In front of other parents, I'm like, hey, do you have a daughter? Yeah. I said, okay, when you held your daughter for the first time, you're holding your beautiful baby girl. Any of you want to be dads, imagine this, right? You're holding your beautiful baby girl. Was your first thought, I can't wait for her to be a porn star? And the dad got red in the face, like, oh! I'm like, why are you mad? And you know what he said? He said this, because I don't want anybody to look at my daughter the way, and he stopped. The way that what? The way that what? That you look at these women? That girl in that magazine, that's somebody's little girl. That's somebody's sister. You're like, oh yeah, I don't care. Yeah, would you like somebody looking at your sister? The way that you look at those things? Really? So the guy just stopped himself, and he's like, You could say I was right, but it's like, what are we doing? How are we training ourselves to look at women? And then we're surprised that we react this way, that we use women, right? That men use women, or that women let themselves be. We're surprised. There's a training that we get. Well, here's the deal. What about, okay, fine, not pornography, but just images of myself. Girls, here's the thing. If a guy ever asks you, hey, can you send me an image? You know what I'm talking about? Like, sexting, like send me an image. Be like, I will send you an image of my body part. Absolutely. Be like, there's my ear. See what happens. Oh, thank you. Yeah, your beautiful ear, right? Like, no. Right? What's going on? How can they just be like isolating things? No. And here's the thing. Problem with pornography, problem with sexting, all these things. Number one, obviously, it demeans and objectifies women. It doesn't lead to the purpose of the sexual union, which is union procreation. It lies about what it means to be male and female. It literally rewires a brain, literally. They did a study where they got brain scans for people who are addicted to pornography, and they showed it to doctors, and they said, okay, here are people when they're high on crack, and here are people when they were looking at pornography, addicts, and they're like, can you tell who's who? They couldn't. Because the level of dopamine is the same. It becomes an addiction, right? It causes over 500,000 divorces a year. So if one of you are like, yes, I want to be for sure divorced in the future, then continue viewing pornography. 88% of scenes in porn films are acts of physical aggression, literally violence. And unfortunately, 70% of wives of sex addicts are diagnosed later with post-traumatic stress disorder because of the way their spouses treat them. And the reality is that 90% of boys and 70% of girls will have seen pornography by the age of 18. So I have to see, okay, what is going on here? So then the question everybody asks is always this, how far can I go? Fine. I'm going to have you answer your own question. It's really interesting. We were here with a group one time, and one of the guys was like, okay, yeah, how far can I go? You're telling me, okay, can I do this, this, and this? Well, what about this, this, and this? Or how about this, this, and this? I asked the guy, I'm going to ask you the same questions. I asked this young boy, he was 16. I'm like, do you want to be married? And just young men and young women, ask yourselves this question. And the guy was like, yeah, I want to be married. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to pretend that you're going to meet your future, you're going to get married, you're 16, you're going to get married when you're 26. Why not? And let's pretend that you're going to meet your wife when you're 22. So right now, she's out there somewhere, right? She's out there somewhere, but here you are, right? This is a mother of like your future children, your spouse, the woman who you're going to love for the rest of your life. Right now, because the guy was like, how far can I go? I was like, right now she has a boyfriend. How far can her boyfriend go with your future wife? Where could he touch her? What could he do? You know what the guy said? He can give her a high five. That's what he said. He can give her a high five. That's it. And I said, why? And he said, because I don't want, it's interesting what he said. He said, I don't want the day of my wedding for my beautiful bride to be coming down the aisle and some random guy to just close his eyes and imagine my wife in ways that really, I should only know that. Or the girl's like, yeah. So my husband, here's all these girls that can close their eyes and have this image of what they're doing with my spouse that doesn't really belong to them. Right? And it was so funny because he's like, a high five. And so then the question is, okay, and really the question is not how far can I go, it's really how far can I take this person to God to really be who they are. Here's a true story. One time I'm walking down the mall and I'm with my friend and I hear this girl scream my friend's name and begin to cry. Pasquale, she begins to cry and scream. And I'm like, okay, I'll give you guys space. What the heck was that? So when that was done, I was like, what the heck was that? He's like, do you remember this girl I told you? So basically he told me he was a senior in high school and he had a girlfriend. And they've been going out for a year, and she said, okay, look, for our graduation day, there's going to be a great surprise. It's going to be beautiful. I've been working on this. There's going to be dinner, just all these things. When he goes over to her house, there's nobody at her house. There's no dinner. There's no everything. And so she's like, actually, no, like, I'm the surprise. Like, today's the day that we consummate our love and things like that. And he is funny because he's like, I felt like crazy schizophrenic at that moment because he's like, my body was like, yes, this is what I want. This is amazing. But another part of me is like, no, like, I can't do this to you, right? Like, I know, like, I do love you, but I know that I can't use you because, in other words, we're doing this. It's like a and he said he was frozen. And he's like, I just have to walk away. And he did. The girl felt rejected. It was horrible. She spread rumors that, like, all these horrible things about him. And yet, he's like, that was a girl. I'm like, I thought she hated you. So this girl, like, 5 years later, because this was like, I didn't even know him when he was in high school, she was crying and screaming and all these things, like, when she met him again, because she said, all these years I've hated you so much, right? But because I thought you never loved me. But now, after being with all these guys, now I know that you're the only one who ever has, right? Because you didn't use me, no matter how much you wanted to. And he was like, I know. You could be like, well, it's not use, it's love. But he knew that the sexual union meant so much more. So people ask me this question then, how do I know when I'm ready? Quick, easy, everybody quick, look at your left hand. Quick, do you see a wedding ring? If you have a wedding ring, you're ready, right? Why? Because are your bodies ready for sex? Of course. A 9-year-old girl who's gone through puberty is ready. Her body is ready. But is she really? Right? Is she really? Our brains don't fully mature till 21. And here's the deal. I have a wedding ring, and I want to tell you a little bit about my wedding. So here's me on my wedding day, right? That's me on my wedding dress. What do you notice? What's odd about this picture? Well, I'm all white, okay. A lot of wedding dresses are in white. What else? Yeah. Oh my gosh, she got stood up at the altar now. So here's the deal. I'm what's called a consecrated virgin, right? So I gave my life fully over to God. Just like when you think of a religious sister, same thing, except that we don't wear a habit, right? Because our work is more on the world. But my life is giving of myself fully to other people, loving other people, right? Giving my life fully over to God. And people are like, oh, poor girl, she can't get married. No, I'm married. I'm married to God because God is real, right? And so this is me. This is like almost 9 years ago. This is like Queen of Apostles. And I made a vow never to get married. Not because marriage is bad or anything, but because instead of just loving one person exclusively in my little family and helping my family get to heaven, my thing is like, I don't just want one person. I want to be able to help everybody, right? And so it's interesting because people in the world make it seem like, oh my gosh, sex is everything. Listen, if I don't eat, if China doesn't eat, will I die? People are like, no, China, you will live. Will I die? Yeah. If I don't drink, I'm like, I'm just going to stop drinking liquids. Will I die? Yeah. Am I going to walk out this door, drop dead? And you guys are like, what happened to China? She just dropped dead. And somebody's like, oh yeah, you didn't hear? She never had sex. She died. You laugh because you know it's true. They make it seem as if you can't love, you can't be happy, your life doesn't have meaning, you can't give yourself fully unless you're engaged in the sex life. Let me tell you, I've been a missionary all over the world, right? I help so many parents and families and teens and all this and love people deeply and be loved deeply without the sexual act. Why? Because I'm not married. And since I'm not married, that way of expressing love is not part of my, like the way that I express love, right? But think about Mother Teresa. You're like, oh my gosh, poor woman. No, what a fulfilled life, because that's how God chose for her to show love into the world. And let me tell you something crazy that happened. So I'm a missionary, and one day I got an email from Good Housekeeping. Has anybody ever heard of that magazine, Good Housekeeping? It's just like this lady magazine, whatever. And just the name of the thing is like Good Housekeeping. It's like house articles. And they wanted to write an article about consecrated virginity. I was like, why? Can you imagine like, oh yeah, here's a lamp, here's a bed, here's a consecrated virgin. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, why are you going to write it? They wrote an article about that, and I didn't tell anybody because I was like, who the heck reads Good Housekeeping? Long story short, what happened is I have a little Etsy shop where I do like art and different things, and I could see how many people look at my website. And all of a sudden, I got to see like 1,000, all these people were looking at my site. I'm like, why? What happened is that Cosmo magazine, which I don't know if you know the magazine, but usually it's all about sex and all these different things. They bought the article from Good Housekeeping and they published it. Okay, so here is Cosmo, which is not a Catholic Christian magazine whatsoever, and they published the article, which is like, I'm happily married to God as a consecrated virgin. Yes, I'm celibate. No, I'm not a nun. And this was like the second day that it was published, and it already had 15,000 views. And I'm not saying this for you to be like, oh, China, but I think a lot of times what happens is that we think, oh my gosh, if I live chastity, if I live love the way that God designed, then you know what's going to happen? Everybody's going to think I'm weird. You know how many amazing remarks I got back from that? It was outstanding, right? And just think about, like, this is in Cosmo, like how much just living your life for God can make a difference. And I just want to end with this. Discipline of freedom. So here's the deal. I think a lot of people think that that's what chastity is. Like white knuckling it. What would have made it easier? What would have made it easier is just like, dude, stand up, go out. You don't have to be like staring at this thing all the time, right? And so I think a lot of people think that that's what chastity is. Like a temptation to be like, I will not. Like, no. Chastity is freedom. It's a freedom of you to be fully yourself, to love in a way that doesn't put you in danger, right? That puts you in a way never to be used. So your mantra is kind of like, I will not use you, and I will never let you use me. That's what chastity is. That is just a fun little thing to show you how hard it is, just even for kids. But chastity is freedom. It's a freedom of giving the best of yourself without being less of yourself, right? And so this is a time, and with this I end, is just time for authentic freedom, right? For authentic friendships. Like, this is a time, girls, to be making friends, right? And, like, finding your bridesmaids. Those women that will be your best friends that will stand there, right? If you're dating, it's because you're discerning marriage, right? So just like a lot of you guys are not necessarily out right now in the seminary, even if you maybe thinking about priesthood, well, right now is a time for friendship, right? And if you are in a relationship, do you have that in your head that I will never use you? And I will never let myself be used by you, right? And so how beautiful it is to just live freely and in freedom. So I just want to end with a quick prayer, and then if you guys have questions, time for question and answer. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. And then afterwards, there's a few more things that your principal wants to tell you. So let's just end in prayer, and then think about a few questions. It could be anything about my vocation or what I've talked about, whatever you want. Okay, so let's just pray. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen. Dear Lord, thank you so much for making us male and female, for the great gift of our sexuality, that it actually makes us holy and become more like you. I pray for all of these young men and women, for their vocation, for their future spouses, for their future husbands, for their future wives, future families. And I just pray protection over them. And we just pray that we would be open like the Virgin Mary to say yes to God and bring Jesus to the world, regardless of our vocation. May we do this always. Let us pray together. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, Holy Spirit. Amen.